the position that you're in is comfortable. And if you need to sit with your feet onto a block or a book or a couple of pillows, because they make chairs for people who maybe don't have the same dimensions as you do. And then your back nice and straight, so we're not sitting back, and then put your hands onto the knees, letting your eyes close. We'll be here for a few minutes. Start to tune into your breathing through the nostrils if you can. And then eyes being closed, you start to just think about yourself and think about your body and how you're feeling in general. It takes a while for everything to slow down. And then making sure that your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Breathing down into the diaphragm. So if you're not quite sure where the diaphragm is, it's at the bottom of the rib cage. So we have the 12th rib then, and it goes from there and right to the back to the spine. So as you breathe in then, when you're using the diaphragm, you feel the belly gently push out. But also, because we're seated, breathing into the sides and the back. And then when you breathe out from the front, sides and the back. And so just carry on with that breathing. When you're lying down, it's not as easy to do the back breathing, so just enjoying that. But you start and finish with inhalation, exhalation at the front of the body rather than at the back or the sides. And at this stage, we're only really breathing in and out at the lower part of the belly, so the lower part of the lungs. So we'll move up to the middle lobe then, both lungs. Well, the right lung has 3 lobes, the left has 2, just because of the heart being on the left side. But still we divide the lungs into 3 different sections, and then both lungs together as well. So up to the middle lobe then, between roughly at the breastbone area and in the middle of the chest. And just start to breathe in and out through this part. So the front, the sides, the back, as you inhale gently. And then exhale from the front, the sides and the back in the middle part of your chest. And make sure that you're keeping it very gentle, no forcing. And as I was saying last week, I think it was Friday, that sometimes, even breathing practices are not for you. So if you don't want to do this, or if you're not finding it comfortable, just do steady breathing. So the benefit of breathing deeply and slowly like this is that you start to feel relaxed. But if it's having the opposite effect, then just let go of it, stop doing it, and breathe normally. And then we'll move up to the top lobe, up at the collarbones, the top of your lungs. So you're breathing into the front, the armpits, and the upper back between the shoulder blades. Inhalation, exhalation, both begin at the front. And next time you exhale, let your breath go back to normal. So the practice we're going to do at the end of the class is going to use those 3 different breaths. So just bear in mind, keep them in your mind for the end of the class. So see how you feel, check in with your body. As always, don't be thinking that chair yoga is the easy option. It can be quite strong. So again, if you have injuries, work with your injuries, and you can step out of something altogether if you want to. And let's just go through the poses at a really nice, gentle pace. If this is your first time doing chair yoga, just again, take it easy, especially in the forward bends. So we'll let the eyes open and just stretch out the body a little bit. So shoulders, roll the shoulders up and back a few times. So do about 3 or 4 of these, and then bring the shoulders forward on the breath. And so take your hands out in front and do a few circles for your wrists. So wrist circling, then do about 5 both directions. So 5 one way and then change. So circle. And then hands come down by the side. So sit up nice and tall on your seat. Knees level with the hips, feet directly under the knees. And we'll do extended mountain pose. So inhale and lift your arms straight up. Palms face each other. Draw your rib cage in and down, but lengthen the whole spine upwards and just gaze straight ahead. And we'll hold it for 5 breaths. So you're pressing into the feet, into the hips, lengthening into your fingertips, and breathe in. Using abdominal breathing. And then exhale and bring your arms back down again. So we'll interlink the fingers and push the palms away, breathe in and lift the arms up again. But just making sure your knees don't go wide or your feet don't go wide, press into the hips. And then keep your ribs pressed downwards and in. So basically that just means don't stick the chest out, ribs in, and then press the palms away. You can gaze forward or gaze up. I'm taking 3 breaths here. So rather than arching the upper back, lengthen your whole spine. And then exhale and bring your arms down. So we'll do a little bit for the neck. Just turn the head to the right. And then back to the center and turn your head to the left. And we'll do another 4 of these. So turn your head to the right. Come to the center, turn your head to the left. And 3 more. Back to the middle, over to the left side. And then back to the center, right side. And to the middle and over to the left. Head back to the center. So up and down with the chin, bring the chin down towards the neck and towards the chest. And then bring your head up, bring it back. So everyone's going to be different. Lengthen the front of your neck and just bring your head back to where it is comfortable and then forward and down again. So we'll do 5 here as well. And then lift the head up. And bring it back down. It's just more about stretching the front of the neck and lengthening the neck rather than about how far back you can go with your head. And some people will have maybe injuries in the shoulders and neck or blood pressure issues. So you just do what feels right for you. And then last one, head comes down and bring the head back. And then back to the center. So our next thing we're going to do is the arms, the eagle arms. So you stretch your arms, 2 arms out in front, and then you bring, excuse me, the right arm and wrap it around and bring the palms together into the eagle arms. Option to not do that if you can't do it. Option to bring your forearms together instead, which I find just slightly harder actually. But if you have any issues with doing this, then that's the other option. And then keep your spine nice and straight. Just lift the elbows up. Drop your shoulders down the back. And hold it for a few breaths. Even if you can only get your arms like a fraction away from the body, that's fine. And then try to soften the shoulder blades on the upper back. Breathe out and release. So just doing what you can with that one as well. We're going to do it on the left side. Arms go out. Left arm hooks over the right. Get the palms together. Or hold on to a thumb or finger or whatever way you're doing it. But great for upper back and shoulders. So Try to soften the shoulder blades and then lift the elbows up. Don't push too far. But if you want to and your elbows can go up high, that's great. Keep your rib cage tucked in. Breathe in deeply. And it is quite intense. And also when we're doing eagle, the standing version, we tend to just be focusing on not falling over. But whenever you actually break it down, this is very, very strong stretch for the upper back and shoulders. And then breathe out, release, and just give your arms a shrug forward and back. So we're going to now do a seated version of Cobra. So maybe you have to come forward a little bit and place your hands onto the back of your chair. So anywhere at all, maybe on the sides or just on the seat itself. And then going to breathe in and lift the chest up and roll the shoulders back. And then breathe out, come back to straight back, but keep your hands where they are because we're going to do a few more of these. So whenever you're doing back bends, keep this lower back protected and you're trying to just do the upper back and the shoulders. So no forcing your lower back into that extended position. So another couple, just breathe in, roll the shoulders, lift up the chest, Cobra. It's a bit like locust actually, maybe more so than Cobra. And then exhale, come up, and one more. So next time you breathe in, lift up the chest, roll the shoulders back, lengthen the spine. And then exhale and come back. Maybe just have to sit back a little bit again on the seat. So feel free to move around the seat a little bit. You know, if you feel like you're too far back in any of the poses, just come forward. And so we'll just side bend here. Put your left or your right hand down to the side. Lift up the left arm. And then you can start to walk your hand down the leg if that's comfortable. And bring your left arm over. So it can be a slightly deeper stretch because you're able to, where normally we're restricted by the floor, you've got room to lower down. So if you want to, you can go lower or just stay wherever is comfortable. Breathe here. Try to straighten that left arm as much as you can. And then inhale and come back up again. Same thing on the other side. Left hand goes down, right arm up, and then start to lean over and let your hand travel down the chair if you want, or just stay in here. Depends on what type of chair you have. I would imagine mostly wooden, but still you've got that option to just let your hand move. A nice big stretch on the right side. Be careful not to let your head dangle. Keep your neck long in the side stretch. And then breathing in and come back up again. So we're going to turn to the left side. Face the left for a twist. So just swivel around in the seat. And then whenever we do this twist, you're going to face the opposite way. So I'll just show you first. But take your hands onto the back of the chair and then twist your body round towards your left side. So you're facing forward, two legs that way on the left, but we're going to twist to our own left side, if that makes sense. So sitting sideways and then put your hands here, either side of the chair, lift up and then start to twist. So every time you breathe in, lengthen the spine. When you breathe out, ease yourself round. Use the breath. So the neck itself, you don't need to bring the neck right round. Work on the chest, really, the center of the chest and the shoulders. And then the neck just coming round wherever's comfortable. But if you go for where you're looking straight away, then really the neck is the only thing that's twisting, whereas you want your whole back to just move round. Use the breath. So if you have any areas that are tight on the spine, then breathe into those, especially on the exhalation, just try and release them. And then next time you breathe in, slowly start to bring yourself around to the center. And we'll face the other way. So it's a really good stretch, I find, because you're able to maintain a much straighter back than you would do sitting on the floor. And then you have that little bit of leverage with the back of the chair. So if you're feeling a bit tight, just come around a little bit. Use your breathing and going a little bit deeper each time you breathe, or staying where you are. So don't force yourself around. That's the worst thing to do, basically. So facing the opposite direction, put your hands on the back of the seat and then lift your spine, lengthen it. Keep your shoulders relaxed. And as you exhale, start to twist yourself around. And again, take the eyes out of the equation. Don't start to try and get your head round. Just try to look to the side, but work on the spine, the lower part of the spine, first of all. And then getting into a nice, gentle breathing pattern, but use the breath to progress a little bit deeper. And then come back really slowly, bring yourself round to the front. So we're going to do seated pigeon pose. And if your knees don't like the pigeon pose, then the option is we're going to do this one after anyway, like a hamstring stretch. So you can bring your leg forward and just lean forward and, see if you can get your hand onto the foot. So the seated pigeon is right foot on top of the left knee, but I know that there's a few people who really can't do this with knee issues. So that's why I'm giving you that other option to just do the hamstring stretch twice instead of the knee. So either or, stretch out your right leg, turn the toes up, or bring your right foot on top of the left knee. And then hands together, drop your knee down, exhale and start to lean forward with a straight back. So you'll get to a point where you start to feel quite a big tug on the outside of your hip. So don't round your back, keep lengthening forward. So it's exactly the same as the standing pigeon, but we're not doing the balance. And then inhale and come back up again. Release that leg. And if you have the leg straight, just step it in. So same thing, when you're coming forward, keep your back straight. Put your hands onto the leg or onto your foot, lengthen. So, or the option to put your left foot on top of the right leg. And you may not even go into the forward bend part of it, that's fine. Just do what you can. So left knee, sit up tall and bring your hands into the chest. Breathe in, exhale, start to lean forward with a straight back. And keep working on your left knee, drop it down, or leaning forward over a straight left leg. And then inhale and release, and just let the left leg come down. And if you have your legs straight, bring both feet together, sitting in Tadasana. Just take a few breaths. So this is seated mountain pose, seated Tadasana posture. And then we're going to move on and do that hamstring stretch. So option, the one that was an option before for anybody whose knees didn't like that bend. So straighten your right leg out. Be careful not to lock your right knee. If you're hypermobile, then like myself, you tend to like force your knee backwards into that back position. So don't do that. Keep a tiny little bend, and then put your hands on the hips, sit up tall, and then exhale and start to fold forward. So don't let your left knee go out, folding forward, hand onto the leg, hand onto your foot, lengthen the spine. So you could be here and just lengthen forward, or up a little bit, or forward and down. Try to keep your toes peeling back. Don't lock that right knee, especially because there's nothing below the knee. There's no floor, there's nothing. Tighten the leg muscles instead. And then slowly start to come up and step the right foot back. So then we'll move on and do the left side. Same thing, just do what you can. Be careful of your left knee. Turn the toes up, hands on the hips, lengthen, fold forwards. Be careful not to go too far forward with your hips, or you might end up falling onto the floor. You can even have your hands on the chair if you want. Hands onto the foot. Don't let your right knee go out, so keep the knees quite close together. And then bring yourself up slowly. Put your foot beside the other foot, both feet in line with the knees, knees in line with the hips, and then eyes closed, and take in a few nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Exhale, inhale. Back into seated mountain posture. And then let your eyes open. Bring yourself up to standing. So we'll move the chair, or you can move away from the chair, whatever you want. Next posture then is downward dog, but using the chair. So I'll just show you first. You have to get the distance right, so if you're too far, you're going to have quite a distance to go. So put your hands onto the seat. Walk your feet back. Excuse me, my throat has got a frog in it. And then just push your hips back and let your head come down. So exactly the same pose, only without the weight bearing. If you're not sure of your distance, you can go quite close to the chair and then step your feet back rather than sort of trying to lunge towards the chair like that. So gently just walk your feet backwards and hold onto the chair, and then let your body go back, head goes down. Don't lock your knees. But push the hips back and up. And then draw in the belly as well. So navel drawn in. Deep breathing. So it's maybe a bit more intense on the back of your legs than it would be on the floor, because you're able to get your heels down, and then you feel it a lot more on the back of the body. So if you need to adjust your feet, move them a bit closer or a bit further away, depending on you. You might really like this feeling. And if you can as well, just let your head drop down a bit and soften between the shoulder blades. And then slowly come up. Walk yourself towards the chair and come up to standing. So we're going to do a standing twist. Step your right foot onto your seat. And I hope this is okay for everybody. So you have your knee or your foot directly under the hip on the left side, and then your right knee and the heel in line with each other. So, you know, not too far apart like that. And then right hand onto the hip and put your left hand onto the outside of the leg. So standing up really tall and twist yourself round towards the right, but draw that right knee over a little bit to the left and keep lengthening the spine. And you have the option just to keep your hand on the hip or bring your arm out behind you. So twist in to the right, but pull your knee to the left slightly, and strong standing leg. Use the breath. So if the arm out is too strong, it's still great with the hand on the hip, and roll the top of your arm back. And then inhale and release. Slowly come back and take your left foot down, or right foot down, sorry. So we're going on to the other side. No rush. As always, just if you have shoulder injuries, don't do the arm back, and be very gentle with the twist. Keep standing up tall. Left foot onto the seat. So I know maybe some of the chairs are a bit higher, so your knee might be higher up than mine. That's fine, you just work with your prop. And then your right foot directly under the hip. And left hand on the hip, right hand on the outside of the left leg. And then breathe in, lift up, start to twist. Gently pull the knee over towards the opposite side. Taking your time coming into the twist, use the breathe in option to bring your left arm back. But if it causes you to feel like your muscles have become a bit shorter or you can't breathe properly, then just work on the hand on the hip. Sometimes the arm goes back, but everything starts to collapse that way. So you should be able to lengthen. And then next time you breathe in, just lengthen the spine and then breathe out and bring yourself round. Walk your feet back a little bit. Come into the forward bend again, so the downward dog. Walk your feet back, hands onto the seat, and then just push your hips backwards. Don't lock your kneecaps. Keep a little bend, tighten your leg muscles. Deep, steady breathing, so you're letting those muscles lengthen. Breathe in and bring yourself back up to standing again. Take your time coming back up. So this is it's the same as the hamstring stretch we did from seated. So both hips are facing directly towards the seat, and you take your right leg and put the right foot onto the seat, curl your toes back towards your body and stand up tall. So this is like a chair version of hand to foot pose, Padahastasana. So strong, like really long back here, toes turned up. And then you can just stay here or start to fold forward over that front leg. Make sure you're not rounding your back. You can put your hands onto the seat, either side of your front leg. You can hold on to the back of the seat, lengthen forward, fold forward over that leg, or you're probably thinking, what is she doing? I'm still here. That's perfectly okay. Try to keep your two hips level, so push your right hip down so that it's not sticking up. And then coming into whatever version you're doing. Same with the posture one, the upright or lengthen. But whatever happens, don't let your right hip start to hike up. Keep pushing it down. And then slowly bring yourself back up to standing. Release the foot. So it's quite like the runner's lunge as well. Really deep hamstring stretch and just doing what you can. So same thing, left leg. I just need to emphasize, because when we're doing a lot of forward bends in class, you've got something behind your knees usually. And because we have nothing here, just be really careful of overextending the kneecap. So tighten your thighs, push your left hip down, stand up tall, curl the toes of your left foot back. Again, just stay here. This is strong. You have to strong right leg here to support you, or if you want to, start to lean forward. And hands can go down onto the seat. Be careful of that knee, or hands onto the back of the seat. Push your hip back. Keep dropping your left hip down. And then coming out slowly, bring yourself up and release the left leg down onto the mat. So same thing here, we're going to come into the forward bend again, third time. Just lean back. And if you don't want to bring your head down, this is great too, because you can just push back and look forward slightly, or you can let your head dangle. Slowly bring yourself up, walk your feet towards the chair, come up slowly. And then we're going to do dancer pose. So you have the option of doing dancer with your hand on the high part of the chair. So you're going to bring the foot and hold on to the foot and just lean forward, push the foot back. Or you can also put your hand onto the seat, and that's a lower version. So just whatever works for you. So whichever you think you prefer, either the back or the seat. And then stand a little bit away from the seat and just lean forward, see if you feel like you've got enough room. So you don't want to be too close. If you're too close, you know, you're not going to be able to open the body up as much, but you can always move your hand forward or up. So just at the right position that you can to get a bit of length in the body. So we'll start with trying to get the right foot back. If you struggle a bit with dancer pose anyway, the higher is going to be a better option. So put your hand onto the chair and then get the right foot and bring it behind you. Keep your knees close together. I just feel I'm a bit too close there. And then start to lean forward and push the foot away. So we're not going to let go with the arm on the left side at all, but work on that foot back and lengthen. And just push the foot away and lift the hip. And then come up. Bring your foot down. So we'll do it again on the other side. Hold on to the seat. Get your left foot. If you feel like you're too close or too far, so that could also happen, you just change the feet position and then hold on to the chair for stability and push the left foot back. Push it away. See if you can lift your knee away as well and back, leaning forward if that's for you. But use the breath and take your time and just try to push and lengthen backwards. And then slowly release the foot and bring the foot back down again. Great. So quite strong. The chair just adds an extra dimension to poses, I think, rather than making them easier, it sometimes makes them slightly harder. So we're going to come down and do some floor work with the chair. You can also have a cushion handy for some of it. So this one is boat pose. Let's see how we get on with this. So that you have the back of the chair away from you and the seat of the chair in front. And then we're going to put the hands behind and lift your legs up onto the seat. So you might need to move your hips back a little bit and then just put your hands behind. So this is great because you have the option not to let go with your hands at all, but just work on lifting the hips or lifting the legs up nice and straight. So lift up your chest, legs are up. Try to straighten those legs as much as you can. And then if you want to, you can just stay here or let go and bring your hands up towards the leg. Sit your spine up really straight. So if you're doing this version, don't round back, lift up, hands pointing towards your feet, and curl the toes back. And then if anyone wants to, we can go back a little bit, round the back as we lower, and then breathe in and lift the spine up. And we'll do another one, roll back. So you round the spine as you roll back, and then inhale and lift up. And then last one, roll backwards, and then breathe in and lift up. Put your hands behind and then bring your feet down and stretch them out either side of the chair. So that was Navasana, just with the chair. So if you want to put a pillow, we're going to do 2 forward bends, the wide leg forward bend, and then the Janu Shavasana with the knee bent. So you can have a pillow or cushion onto the seat if you want, and step your legs out either side of the chair and sitting on the mat. And also, if you want, you could put a pillow under your hips, even for a bit more support. So legs out wide. And the thing is with the chair, If it's really close, then it's great because you're just leaning forward like this. So if you're not comfortable in a deep forward bend, you bring the chair in really close to you and then leaning forward and even keep your head up. But if you want, you can put the chair away far away from you and then bring your hands onto the seat and do the forward bend like that. So anywhere between here and there, your chair goes. So just whatever's comfortable. And it depends on what mood you're in as well. So turn your toes upwards and feet out as wide as you can. We're in a comfortable position. And then breathing in, lengthen the spine, breathe out and just lean forward. So if your chair's really close, you lengthen the spine, put your elbows down, maybe the head. Keep curling the toes upwards. Don't let your lower back arch backwards. So same rules apply in this forward bend, or you might want to go a little bit deeper where you're bringing your spine forward at more of an angle and pushing the back of your hips back, pressing the front of your pelvis forward. So basically trying to get the pelvic floor muscles to lengthen down parallel with the mat. And we're going to be in this for about a minute. So making yourself comfortable, but still keep working those feet straight upwards. And then really slowly preparing to come out of it. If you're in a really deep forward bend, come up gently and take your time. So the next posture then is with the knee bent. But if that's not for you, what you can do is put your 2 feet under the seat. So feet together and do a forward bend over the seat in Paschimottanasana, where you can have the chair in quite close, feet and legs together, and then just lean forward into that. And if your chair is not really set up for that, you can just do the same pose again with the legs out wide. So it's still a forward bend we're going to do. So for the Janu Shavasana, you have your left leg straight and bring your right foot in, and then bring your chair in a little bit closer. So your left leg should really be under the chair if it can. If your chair isn't like that, you can put your foot out to the side and have your right foot in. And then just doing the forward bend. So variations there, whatever variation suits you, and depending on the type of chair that you have, whether your legs comfortably fit underneath. So bend your right foot or right leg, put your foot on the inside. If you're doing 2 legs together, just bring your legs together and then lift up. And then we'll just have to position the chair either really close or a little bit further away. And then you start to lean forward and getting that right knee out. Turn the toes of your left foot up if you can. And then leaning forward into Janu Shavasana. If you're Going into a really deep forward bend, you can move the chair away beyond the foot and hold on to the legs of the chair. Or you can have it quite close, more restorative, where you're letting your upper body just dangle and you're supported. But still don't let your left foot turn out or in. Keep your toes at an angle of 90 degrees roughly. So we're going to do a minute in this posture on both sides. So if you're doing the forward bend over two legs, then you'll be doing it twice. Just try not to let your upper body slump. Even if you're doing a resting type version of it, keep your spine long. Slowly walk yourself back up again. And switch legs. Stretch out your right leg. Bend the left knee. Put the foot on the inside of the leg. If you're doing both legs out in front, just come back up again. Maybe do a little back bend as well. Before we go on, you can put your hands behind and just lengthen. So we've done 2 forward bends there. So if your back feels a bit achy or anything, stretch it the other direction. And then coming into Janu Shavasana on the left side. So body positioned over the right leg, turn the toes up, inhale, lengthen, and then exhaling and come forward. You can do whatever version you want. So again, if you're into like really stretching the chair beyond the foot, and then whenever you're ready to come out of it, walk yourself back and stretch your 2 legs out in front. And then place the hands behind the back onto the mat and lengthen the spine, lift it up just to counterbalance all of the forward bending there. So roll the shoulders back and lengthen the spine. So we're going to then come up, put the feet and the legs onto the chair and see how we get on with this. We'll do this for a couple of minutes as well. So come quite close to the seat And I have a pillow here, but you can put a pillow onto the seat or behind your head or both. And then if the seat is quite short and you've got a rigid back, then an option would be to put your legs over the chair sideways so that your feet can go further if needed, and then you just lie down onto your back. Or if you've an open back chair like me and your feet comfortably go through, then do that. So getting your body in like a right angle position, and arms can go out to the side, something behind the head if you need it. If it's not comfortable, then the other option would be just to lie in Shavasana or put your legs up the wall. So it's the chair version of the legs up the wall pose. But hopefully with turning the chair sideways, you can put your legs on and then just let your body relax. Eyes closed. And so focus on your breathing, a steady rhythm. Letting your body begin to feel heavy and relaxed. Start to take deeper breaths. And let yourself feel a bit lighter. And then take your feet off the chair. Just roll to the side and bring yourself up slowly, nice and safely. And then we're not going to need the chair for relaxation and the Kriya that we're going to do. So put it off the mat. Just take your time and get the chair out of the way. And then if you want to have a cushion or something for behind the head, then you can do that. And then whenever you've done that, you've got your chair out of the way. You can also get blankets and have them over you, because this Kriya is really just about moving the feet and then the hands and then the head. So the blanket won't get in the way of that, and the whole thing is done with the eyes closed anyway. So just lie on your back with the arms out at the side, blanket over you if you're using it, and then I'll just describe it so you don't need to watch or anything. And each time we do the separate parts of the Kriya, we're going to do them 9 times. So make sure, get really comfortable and feet out a little bit wider, arms out at the side, and then eyes are closed. So part 1 is inhale and bring the toes of the feet towards each other. So rotate the legs inwards, exhale, rotate the legs out. And that's the simple first part. So 9 times, inhale, feet turn in, exhale, feet turn out. Inhale again, exhale, feet turn out. Inhale, feet turn in, exhale, feet turn out. So just do another 6 of those in your own time, and also breathing into the belly. So I should have mentioned that at the start. This part is the lower part of the lungs when you inhale and exhale. And it's not fast, so slow it right down. And then after you've done your 9, just let your body rest for a couple of breaths. So second part, breathing into the center, the middle lobes of your lungs. And when you inhale, you just rotate the arms outwards. So the hands and the arms turn out on the inhalation and then in on the exhalation. And this is, where possible, into the center of your chest. So doing 9 of those. Inhale, the hands and arms rotate out. Exhale, they roll in. Inhaling into the chest. Roll the arms out. Exhale, roll the arms in. Inhale, roll them out. Exhale, roll them in. Now, and do 6 more. After you've finished your 9, back to normal breathing. And then the third part is inhaling your head to the left and exhaling to the right 9 times, and also the breath into the upper chest. So the 3-part breath combined with movement, Kaya Kriya. So we'll put them all together after this round, but so inhale your head to the left, inhaling into the collarbones. Exhale it to the right. Inhale to the collarbones, head to the left. And then exhale to the right. carry on with that. So on to the third one. And then doing 6 more. And once you've done your 9, come back to the center. Just noticing how you're feeling, letting your breath go back to normal. So the full Kriya practice is inhaling, turn the feet in, the hands out and the head to the left. Exhale, feet out, hands in, head to the right. And also full breath. So, but just doing what you can. Try to use all 3 parts of the lungs. So the inhalation, the feet turn in, the arms turn out, and the head goes to the left. And then the exhalation, feet turn out, palms turn in, head goes to the right. So just come back to the center and make sure your eyes are still closed and do 9 of those in your own time. So the feet go in, the palms out, and the head to the left on the inhalation. Full breath into the chest, and then toes turn out, hands turn in, head to the right as you exhale. Exhale fully. And then when you've finished your 9, we're just going to go into Shavasana. And if you're not quite sure how many you've done, just then finish in on the exhalation and come back to Shavasana and let everything completely relax. So making sure that any time you're doing Shavasana and Yoga Nidra that you don't hold the breath, that it's flowing in and out of your body without stopping. Eventually, your awareness of the breath will disappear once your mind has slowed down and become quiet. When your mind is active, then it can affect the breath. It becomes shallow or a little bit jerky sometimes. Just letting yourself rest. Physically, mentally, after the practice. So starting to breathe more deeply, letting go of the heavy feeling in the body, and start to move the hands and feet, bring in some small movements in. And then stretch your arms back behind, so full body stretch. Reach into the feet and hands. And then hug your knees in. So whenever you're ready, knees come in, circle and rock side to side, and bring some movement into your lower back. And then just when you're ready, come to the side and bring yourself up or roll up to sitting and coming into a comfortable seated position. You could even sit on the chair again if you want, just to finish. So if you find it hard sitting on the floor, you've got the chair, that option. And so we'll just join the hands together in front of the heart. Namaste. Okay, thank you very much. So I hope you all enjoyed that okay.